A small set of polystyrene balls floating in the air may not seem like a significant finding. However, this system has allowed to observe a phenomenon that formerly belonged to the theoretical terrain, a classic time crystal that remains active without an external impulse. This experiment, developed by the University of New York, shows that these structures can be seen and manipulated with a portable device. Before continuing, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and give like to the video. Your support is fundamental to continue bringing interesting content about science and technology. Now we will explore in detail what is a crystal of time and why it is relevant in the field of physics. A conventional crystal is defined by its ordered spatial structure, while a time crystal is characterized by a periodicity in time. This means that its movement is repeated regularly, without the need for a constant external force. A classic time glass is a dynamic system whose spatial-temporal symmetry breaks spontaneously. This concept implies that the system chooses its own rhythm, generating stable oscillations as emergent property. In the experiment, that oscillation takes the form of a stable boundary cycle that is maintained despite friction and energy losses. The relevance of this phenomenon goes beyond theory, allowing to explore complex behaviors in simple systems. Researchers at the University of New York have observed a new type of time crystal. It is based on particles that levitate on a sound cushion and interact with sound waves. They use an acoustic levitator that generates a stationary wave, creating pressure nodes that trap small objects against gravity. Each sphere of polystyrene is contained in a node as if held by an invisible pier. The force responsible for this confinement is the force of Gor'kov, which allows the particles to remain suspended for long periods. However, the important thing is that these spheres interact with each other through the sound waves that disperse. In classical physics, forces between objects tend to obey Newton's third law. However, in this system, sound waves can transport moment away from particles, allowing non-reciprocal interactions. This means that one particle can influence another more without receiving the same force in return, creating unbalanced interactions. The spheres of polystyrene, although passive on their own, acquire properties of active matter by interacting in the acoustic field. This active behavior arises from the relationship between particles, not individual particles. If the configuration is changed, the movement disappears and the system returns to a passive state. Under certain conditions, non-reciprocal interaction compensates for friction losses, leading the system to a sustained oscillation regime. Two particles can access several dynamic states, including one that meets the definition of time crystal. This state is maintained for prolonged times, demonstrating its stability. One of the most striking aspects of the experiment is its macroscopic scale. Unlike other time crystals, it can be seen and held in hand. The oscillations are recorded with a conventional camera, confirming that it is a robust and stable state. This opens the door to new applications in technology. The interest of the work goes beyond fundamental physics. Authors suggest that similar phenomena may appear in systems where passive particles interact with waves. This also provides a framework for understanding biological processes, where non-reciprocal interactions are key, connecting areas such as acoustics and physics out of balance.